Hello Tailoring Talkers, welcome back. We need to talk about this CS tune for the regular G87s. Welcome back everyone. Little drive for me today, just have some errands to run and fancied taking the car rather than the Vespa. But it's always great to be back in the G87. So thanks to some of our regular listeners who told me about this new flash for the CS. Well, what it basically does is it gives your regular G87, and it doesn't matter if it's the pre-LCI or the LCI, it will basically turn your car into the M2 CS with 530 horsepower and 650 newton meters of torque. I think newton meters is the correct measurement. The kind of suspension adjustments and the steering gets a little bit heavier, again in line with the CS as well. So basically for around, I can't remember the prices because I did look into it when one of you told me about it, and I don't think it was that much. I think it was like maybe a couple £100. And then for me, it would either be the cost of a Windows laptop or trying to find someone to borrow one from, because you need a Windows machine in order to do the flash, and the OBD cable, which is only about 6 to 11 quid, depending on where you get it from. But the way it works is that you have your laptop and you have your cable. So you connect the OBD cable to your laptop, make sure your laptop's connected to Wi-Fi. Then the people that you pay to do this flash take control of your laptop in your car remotely. I think I've seen the Thick Whips video about this, because they actually offer the CS flash on their website. And check his YouTube channel out. Actually, his G87 is really cool. It takes about 15 minutes, and then hey presto, you've got a CS. Basically, the only thing that's left for you to do is either mod your car so that it looks a bit more like a CS, so swap your alloys out or get them powder coated gold, and then get your car wrapped whatever color you want and off you go. Or you go stealth and you just keep your car looking like a regular G87, and people won't know what hit them when they tried to take the mick. Or you do something in between, which is what I've done with my carbon mods, and what I probably will do with the suspension in the very near future. So yeah, there we go. Now, is it necessary? That is the big question. And I know a few G87 owners who have jumped on this CS flash and they've gone and had it installed on their car straight away. Apparently it shouldn't void your warranty. The whole warranty conversation is a big rabbit hole that I don't want to go down. But you know, basically, I think if you're someone who's worried about invalidating warranties, then you should not mod your car. Just enjoy it as it is stock. And if you have a G87 as a stock vehicle, it is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, come on, those of you watching that own a G87, tell me in the comments that this car is not absolutely nuts. Not just for the money that you pay for it, but just for everything that you get for the size of vehicle with that engine, with the stock tune. And I don't think it matters whether it's the LCI or pre-LCI, whether you're 453 or 483 horsepower. Even at 453, this thing is ridiculous. So yeah, so back to the question, is it necessary? Now, I live in London and most of my driving is in town. I do a bit of out of town driving, but really those trips aren't because I have to go do something or see someone. It's mostly that I just fancy driving the car and getting a bit more open road. And with all the cameras, speed cameras and red light cameras and this cameras and that cameras around, you can't really ever, on a daily basis at least, get the opportunity to push this car. You know, maybe you need to go a bit quick off the line just to teach someone a lesson. But other than that, you know, you accelerate, you get past them, and then you adhere to the speed limit, whatever that is, 20 or 30. Most of London these days is 20 miles an hour, which again begs the question, you know, why did I get a car like this? Hopes, dreams, aspirations, people. At the same time, it's like for minimal cost, you get the ECU flashed, and then suddenly you're running your car at CS level. There's kind of some kudos in that, like knowing that you've got that much horsepower and torque at your disposal, even if you never use it. Does that make sense? It's like I know I've got the power and it's there, but I don't have to use it, which is kind of cool. And then obviously if you are someone that tracks your car regularly, you know, goes to private roads to do draggies and, you know, have all that sort of fun, then maybe it is worth it. I think also it's worth considering if you're someone who has got a bit of FOMO. So the M2 CS came out. None of us knew the CS was coming. Apparently this G87 was the last petrol M car that was going to exist with a manual gearbox, which I don't have, and that there weren't going to be any more options because BMW was moving towards petrol electric hybrids and electrifying their vehicles. Unfortunately for pre-LCI buyers, which I almost was one of those when I was shopping around and I was doing price comparisons, one dealer actually said, could you please confirm that the quote you have is LCI or pre-LCI? And I said, what the hell does that mean? There can't be an LCI already. This car's not even been out for a year. This was kind of spring 2024 when I first started sort of looking into the G87. I then had a little look online and found the press release from BMW talking about the LCI with the uprated power and some of the subtle changes that they'd made to the exterior and the flat bottom steering wheel and all the rest of it. And I thought, oh wow, okay, so then I was on a mission to make sure that whatever I factory ordered was actually an LCI model of this car. Because when you're on the cusp of a changeover like that, why would you have the old version, quote unquote? A lot of us thought that was it. We didn't really think there would be a CS. I mean, I know some people did. They then brought out the kind of more track-focused version of this car. I can't remember what it's called. I'll see if I can flash it up on screen for you. But that basically, they took weight out of it. It wasn't really faster than a regular G87. It was just the suspension setup and everything was just more geared for the track. So if you were someone who wanted a track car, or a track ready car rather, and you had the disposable, then you could just go buy one of those, put it on track, and away you go. So a lot of us breathed a sigh of relief because that car is actually slower. It's running the B58 engine, I believe, and I will correct myself if I'm wrong on screen, but I believe it was running a tuned version of the B58, so it actually had less horsepower than a regular G87. So we all breathed a sigh of relief and we're like, okay, fine, we've still got the best version of this car, or the M2 as it will probably now be forever known in its last iteration. And then rumours start coming out about the M2 CS. Now, I actually knew the M2 CS was coming earlier this year because a contact at BMW's marketing department told me, and I was like, okay, fine, let's see what this thing's going to be. And I was kind of in two minds. I was like, no, it's not a car that I need, and then the other half of me was like, do I contact my dealer and say to them, hey, I know I've only had this thing for 7 months or whatever, but could we maybe start looking at numbers because I might need to chop it in for a CS? And then the CS came out. Personally, I thought I would love to have that kind of engine power, but I don't want a firmer ride. I don't want heavier suspension. Certainly my wife, when she drives this car, does not want heavier suspension. So, and certainly we had this debate on the last video, I'm not going to pay 20-30 grand more for 50 extra horsepower and all the other bits and gold wheels. I mean, if I really want, I can get my alloys powder coated for about 250, 300 quid probably. That's where we are. And then all of a sudden in the last week, it seems that every G87 owner and his dog are flashing their ECUs with this DME Flash. You can get the car's ECU unlocked, but you have to have it taken out, and it goes to FOMO in, I believe it's Norway, and it can take a couple weeks. Litchfield provide a service where you can actually take your car to them. They will remove the ECU and send it securely to FOMO. I believe give you a courtesy car in the meantime, because obviously you have to leave your G87 with them. And then once the ECU comes back, then you're in modding heaven and you can tune the car to your heart's content. Stage 1 tune with Litchfield takes the car to 600 horsepower. It's either 650 or 700 on the torque numbers, which, you know, is a whole other step further. So you could do that. Then for the engine, I believe you're under a warranty from Litchfield. So if anything goes wrong because of the tune and the ECU upgrade, Litchfield will warranty their work for you. Or you spend a little bit less money and you get this DME Flash instead, which takes you to 530 horsepower, which, you know, look, I'm someone who thinks that even 450 odd horsepower on a car like this for what most drivers need to do with it or want to do with it is crazy. I think that guy was honking me and it was meant to be a friendly one, like, hey, like your car. And he obviously banged the horn a little bit too hard. So I personally, I don't know. If you've done that flash, let me know how your car is. Let me know how it's going. I'm tempted. I am really, really tempted. I think I've got an OBD to eNet cable somewhere anyway, because I was going to mod my Supra, but I didn't get that far because I got rid of that car. So I'm kind of tempted. My head says it's just not necessary. Like, what is the point? I already might have my first 3 points ever on my license. I'm just waiting to see if anything comes through the post, because I'll tell you what, those of you that don't have this car yet, you won't know this. And those of you that do have this car, agree with me in the comments. It is so easy to overstep the line in this thing. You really got to keep an eye on what you're doing. But yeah, I got flashed by a camera on the M25 for the first time the other day, and it was 70 dropped down to 50. It was one of those variable speed limit things, and I literally just missed it. And I think I was doing about 55 and the camera went off. So unless there was someone else going faster than me, I have got a feeling that I am going to get that fine and 3 points through the post at any time soon. Anyway, there we go. I'm rambling now and I'm almost at where I need to get to. So I'm going to park the car up, take some gratuitous B-roll. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think. Are you going to get your G87 flashed? Have you already done it? Let's get into our usual little conversations and debates. I absolutely love talking to all of you about this sort of thing. And now I need to concentrate on not hitting any barriers in Brent Cross's car park. So thank you so much as always for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one.